Hi, John.
Hi, Dave.
Missing the beard, but you're looking good. I wanted to ask you, what's your a sense of optimism about how this training camp is going to go within a month, given the COVID-19? Are you still very confident that we're going to have a season that starts on time?
Well, I mean, nobody can predict the future. You know, that's in God's hands. It's all that's to be determined. I'm confident that it'll happen. I know I hope I'm very hopeful. I'm praying for it. I want it to happen, and I think it will happen. I believe it'll happen. I think we'll have the protocols in place, and the testing is the main thing. That seems to be the biggest piece and the most important piece right now to making sure that we don't have a spread in the building, those kind of things. But we'll trust the higher powers on that one.
Hey,
Okay,
Coach
thanks.
Todd Carpenter from Sports Illustrated. How much do you think you have to alter, I guess, training camp with not having OTAs and practices in the off season, as far as avoiding injuries and kind of easing the guys back into getting into football shape?
Well, that'll be part of it. I think the league will probably put in some protocols and put a schedule in place that everybody will have to follow to ramp up towards the contact part of it. Exactly what those will be, we're waiting to see, and we'll just see what the deal is. But we have to be smart about it. I mean, as coaches, we take it very seriously to prepare our team as best we can, while at the same time staying as healthy as we can, because both those aspects are very important.
Thank you.
I'm Jimena Lugo La Torre from WDCN Ravens Spanish Radio. Coach, how do you describe this off-season compared to the other seasons as a coach?
Well, yeah, it's completely different than other seasons. We haven't. It's all been virtual. None of it has been with the players in the building for the off-season program. So it's like none other that we've had since I've been in the National Football League. So very different. Yes.
Hey, John, Pete Gilbert here with WBAL. Good to talk with you. And as you see some of the other teams, we see, the Cowboys had some players test positive. Tampa Bay Buccaneers test positive. Have you seen that happen? It's one thing to talk about it theoretically, but then to actually see that taking place, has that made you reassess, reevaluate, change anything about what you were doing going forward with the team?
No, it hasn't affected our thinking at all. It's part of it right now. I don't think it's a surprise.
Hey, Coach, it's Jerry Coleman from 105.7 The Fan. Have you had a chance to, review I know what you said about the social distancing and all that, how it may be difficult, but do you feel like you're kind of fortunate in the fact that you're one of the top facilities in the NFL, and that, I mean, you guys just got renovated right before all this hit too? In that
No, yeah, definitely, Jerry, no doubt. I mean, what I was saying, I think wasn't controversial. I mean, it's an obvious, clear thing. You can't, people are going to interact with one another. That's the nature of sports, the nature of life. People are still interacting with one another in the world as well. And, I'm not one personally to run scared from a virus or anything else. I'm just not going to do it personally in my own life, although I'll be smart and I'll do what's asked and respect the protocols. And we'll do everything we can to respect the protocols and more. I mean, we have, like you said, Jerry, we have a great building. I mean, we have probably the best building in the league. There's no building. Maybe there's a couple ours the same size. We have plenty of space. We have a lot of meeting room space. We have a huge locker room, a huge weight room. We have lots of rooms to spread out into. So we're going to be in better shape really than any other team in the league, as good as any other team. I'll say that at least, as good as any other team in the league with what we do. And so I'm not worried about it. Beyond that, it ends up being beyond your control. Put it in the hands of God. And that's where we stand with it.
Hey, Coach, it's Kirk McHugh on 98 Rock. I was wondering if you saw Lamar's sentiment expressed last week that the Ravens may have taken the Titans lightly. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Lamar said it. So I respect his opinion on it. And that's how, if he views it that way, that's how he views it. I don't think it's really, that doesn't bother me.
Does any of that fall to you, do you think?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we took him lightly personally. I think we just didn't play well. But that, you want to go back and look at all that stuff and, I don't know, rehash it. We can, but we're going to try to become a better team in that circumstance at the end of the season. just like we try to become a better team throughout the season, and we were very successful with that. So I'm not getting into all that.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, John, it's Luke Jones from WNST. We've talked so much about the challenges of the off-season program being so different. What did you like about it? Was there anything that surprised you that you might even take going forward with how you prepare your team and your coaches?
Say it again, please.
I was saying about the off-season program, so much has been on the negative, the challenges of it. What have you liked about it? Is there anything that surprised you that you might even incorporate as you go forward in the future?
I think the virtual stuff has been an interesting challenge and kind of a blessing in the sense that you have to really look at how you teach, and how you put the system together, how we're going to organize practices in a shorter time frame, try to be more efficient than ever. We've always tried to do that. I think the communication over the virtual setup, just like us, it demands some real efficiency in the way you say things, and the way you put together your presentations, the video that you watch, the drawings, those kind of things. So that's probably helped us just become better at what we do, I think. Yeah.
John, this is Jameson from ESPN. As far as the conditioning test, how has that been going virtually, handling that virtually? And I don't think we've ever asked you that specific system of the conditioning test. Where did you get that from? Or is that something that you just talked to somebody and came up just on your own?
That was a test that was around back when I got hired here. Some different teams. I don't know exactly who had it or where it came from, but we looked at all kind of different tests and different versions of tests to try to find basically a recovery test that would apply as much as we could to football. You can't relate it exactly to football because football is a 60-minute game played over 3.5 hours, and a lot of stop, start, change of direction, recovery. There's a baseline element to it of conditioning, strength element to it. There's also a recovery during a series when you have to, go 6-7 seconds hard. You get a little time off, and you're right back at it going hard again, in a 100% explosive kind of a way. But what we try to do is mimic the idea that lactic acid builds up when you train, and the ability to move that lactic acid through your body and get it out of there and out of your muscles so that you can basically recover and go again. That's what this is all about. This test is all about. So I think it's a very genuine test. That's what the guys are referring to. You really have to be in that kind of shape to pass it. And our guys have done a great job. The test is really workouts, the way we run it during the off season. Part of the workouts are the test. We kind of build up to the final times and all that. And that was part of the workouts last week. They ran the times of the test and everything, and the team all did really well. The guys that did it, not everybody did it, but it was most of the team who did it.
Hi, Coach Harbaugh. It's Aditi with the NFL Network. Happy belated Father's Day to you.
Thank you. You to everybody out there as well.
Okay, thanks.
Not to you, though. Mother's Day.
Well, I was the one that had to work hard, right? I had to do the pampering yesterday.
That's a good point. That's right.
When you sign a guy like Calais Campbell, a veteran, a very obvious leader, are his leadership skills part of what makes him attractive? And when you haven't actually had him in the building, then do you miss out on that piece of him?
Yeah, I think you do to a degree. I mean, that's everybody's facing that. It's kind of hard to lead from afar. That's why we tried to bring the guys as close together as we can with the virtual meetings and things like that. So there's a connection that does go with that a little bit, but it's just part of it. Every team's facing that, so can't overthink it too much, I don't think.
Hey, John, Bo Smolka with Pressbox. First of all, I guess I might be seeing that welcome weekend at Notre Dame this fall. I heard that we'll be out there together.
Congratulations. That's awesome, man. Great news.
I heard you talk on the fan call, the thing you did with the season ticket was a couple of weeks ago about how you felt the downfield passing game might be the next step for Lamar Jackson and this offense. What does that look like to you if it's working really well?
Well, I mean, like anything else, that was misinterpreted by the headline writers. Be good if you guys got better control of the headline writers sometimes, because I ask you about it, and you say, "Well, I don't write the headlines." So it wasn't just deep balls. We're talking about pushing the ball to spots where the defense is not. And I think our offense, like any offense, the idea is to force people to defend certain things, and hopefully they can't do it in a balanced way, and you've got to overcommit resources to certain aspects of the game. That's the chess game, and a lot of times the way our offense sets up, sometimes those throws will be, outside, intermediate, or downfield, down the middle or down the sidelines. It can be on the sidelines with outs, comebacks, deep curls, deep stop routes. It can be deep stop routes over the middle. I mean, these are all type of routes that we have time to throw a lot of times, and if we can really, more and more hurt people, and we hurt them a lot of times last year. I mean, Lamar has good numbers throwing the ball like this, but that's an area that we want to, really see if we can make people defend those parts of the fields even more than they have in the past, and just try to create more problems and put them in more conflicts even than we did last year.
Hey, John. This is Aaron Kasnitz with Penn Live. Hope your off season has been going well. I wanted to ask. I don't think we've talked to you since the team released the video about racism and the protests a couple weeks back. Was there anything particularly that resonated to you with your talks with players? And has your stance on demonstrations or anything like that evolved over the past couple weeks with everything going on?
Yeah, I would say we had great. All I could say is those are always. We've had these conversations around in football locker rooms and meeting rooms for years and years. Ever since I've been in the league, these conversations take place, and because we have a very diverse environment, and we say it often. Everybody comes, just every kind of different place, different race, different space, different part of the country, different religion, different political views, different history, different experiences. That's the beauty of football, and I think it's always been one of the great things about our game. To be around different kind of guys. And then when you're a little older like me, you get to be around young people so much, and it really does help keep you kind of on point and keep you thinking a lot. So that's been a great part of it. Many things came out of it. A lot of those things were expressed in the videos and the comments and quotes that you've already read. So I take it as a real positive, and I'm an optimist. I believe in America. I believe that I believe a lot of things about America and its founding and its purpose. And I'm very optimistic about where we're going. I look at things that way, and I think this was all can be, if taken in the right context. And I think it is by most people, can be a great thing for all of us. And I hope most people look at it that way.
Hey, John, it's Mark Viviano. I don't know if did you hear Dr. Fauci's words last week? He expressed some concern about how the NFL could pull it off in a contact sport. Your reaction to that, and in general, your level of trust in it's out of your hands. These guys got to tell you what they know.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think Dr. Fauci is the NFL doctor, so we're Dr. Sills and the doctors who are putting these protocols together. We had a conference call last week with those guys, and so that was a great conversation back and forth. And I'm very confident that they understand the details of all that. So I didn't really read what Dr. Fauci said other than the headline, so try not to put too much trust in that. But I think that. I think everybody's going to do their best. It's a new world, and you can look at it any way you want to look at it. But I'm not going to run for cover, and I don't think the NFL is either. But they're going to try to be safe and secure, and safety is going to come first. And health of all of us involved in the game and the fans are going to be a major priority. And we'll go from there. So if things start to move one way or the other, nobody knows what's going to happen in the next 6 months. No human being knows that. So. We'll just have to be very adaptable and flexible and smart about what we do. And that's what we're going to try to do. That's my view on it.
Thanks.
John, this is Jeff Zrebeck from The Athletic. We haven't had a chance to talk to you in a while. How is your team's health situation? I'm not talking about the pandemic. I know Matt Score has been rehabbing an injury, and Deshaun Elliott. If training camp starts on time and stuff, do you expect to be pretty much at full strength?
Yeah, Jeff, excuse me on that. Just drink here. 1 second. I'm sorry. We're healthy. Yeah, we're healthy. Matt Skura was the biggest, injury we had last year, and he looks to be like he's ahead of schedule. Really impressed with how hard he's worked at it, and he really looks good out there. And as I think was reported, the timing, the workout we did, that was the timing of the conditioning test, he just blew the thing away. So that's remarkable. So yeah, we go in healthy and we'll roll from there.
Coach Harbaugh, Aditi again. When you talk about the protocols that the NFL could lay out, how do you police that from team to team? Do you just have to have trust that everybody's following all the same rules?
Yeah, you do. That's not really going to be, our job to police anybody else. And really, from a quote unquote policing standpoint, I think I'll be shocked if everybody's not self-policing. I mean, the biggest thing is to try to convince all of us, and it's not just players, it's players, coaches, trainers, managers, grounds crew people, all the people that are involved, people in the building, to, even when they leave here, to do a great job of taking care of themselves and not tracking anything back into the building where it can put anybody at risk, just like you do with your home, and so that's going to be important. I'd be really surprised if everybody didn't do the best that they could with that. You want to keep all your people healthy.
John Dave Ginsburg, have you talked to Earl Thomas about his off season, and is there anything that will happen out of that?
Out of what?
Earl Thomas's sort of off the field encounter with his wife.
That's between Earl and his family, so I have not talked to him about that.
Okay.
Coach, it's Jerry Coleman again. Did you get a chance to speak with Lamar about the video that he posted with the beach football and the jet ski? Now, he did show some burst on the sand, but did you get a chance to speak with him about it?
That's between me and him, so it's not something that I need to comment on publicly.
John, Jerry Sandusky, WBAL. Typically, football season starts, the league sets the parameters. Those are the rules. Everybody goes with it. How important is it for you this year to have an ongoing dialogue with the league as things are going to be changing, maybe day to day?
As far as, do you mean this protocols for the?
Correct. Yeah, in dealing with the protocols.
Yeah, it'll be important, but it really won't be. It won't be me per se. That's we'll have liaisons with that who'll be talking to the league, I'm sure, about whatever changing, whatever's happening. They're not going to be calling the coaches directly. We'll be involved in just focusing on our team and our meetings and trying to do things the right way while we're here in the building. If something changes, they'll let us know. For instance, if all of a sudden they come up with a better test and they're going to implement that, they'll let us know, and we'll do what we're asked to do. We'll try to be good followers along those lines, and also be leaders in the sense of trying to do things the right way. But mainly, our focus is going to have to be on getting ready to play the season. Practice and meetings, and becoming the best football team that we can become. That's what we'll be focusing on.
Coach Ryan Mink from BaltimoreRavens.com, kind of piggybacking off that last comment. I'm just curious how you feel like the preparation of the team is and has gone this offseason. I mean, obviously it's more difficult for every team in the league given the circumstances, but do you feel like you've still been able to prepare the team well so that when training camp and the season starts that, hey, we can get to the level that we are normally get to before the season starts? Or do you feel like, hey, it's so far behind, we have a lot of ground to make up because of all this?
Yeah, that's all. It's a kind of an interesting question and something to think about, but it really doesn't matter, Ryan. Everybody's at the same rules. Everybody's in the same boat. So we've tried to just do the best we can with it, and I think we've done very well. I do think we'll put a really good team together, and I expect us to go out there and play at the highest level. And let the chips fall, and we'll see where it takes us. In the end. So that's what we'll do. As far as comparing it to other seasons, that's really not. Obviously, we're behind, where we would have been, because we'd have been practicing. We'd have seen the rookies. We'd have a lot of tape to evaluate. We don't have that right now. So we're not walking the same way as we would in other seasons, but I don't know that it's really that. It's kind of a moot point. Or as Joey said on Friends, a moot point. You guys remember that?
Nice.
Moot point. You remember it?
I do.
All right, good. Jerry, you remember that?
Absolutely.
All right, good. I don't have to explain it then. One of my favorite lines from TV history.
Anyone else?
John, it's Luke Jones again. We've talked a lot about the competition on the interior offensive line and so many young guys. Wanted to get your thoughts on adding DJ Fluker, a veteran who started quite a few games in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy that we added him. Had to, talk to him very briefly, but he's been in the meetings and has been working hard to learn the offense and to stay with the workout program. Looks like he's done a really good job with that. I'm very anxious to see him play, when he comes in and see how he fits into what we're doing offensively. So it's he'll be competing in there with the other guys, and it'll be interesting to see how he does it. I expect him to do well.
Hey, John, Aaron Kasnitz again from Penn Live. You mentioned you didn't get a chance to see the rookies on the field. I'm curious, how do you and your staff gauge a rookie's progress in terms of learning the playbook and that sort of thing when they aren't actually on the field?
Well, you just do it by the meetings. We do a lot of testing, a lot of competitions, game type things that are fun. The quality of the questions they ask, the information as they can, give it back to you, and that's what we're doing. It's not like seeing them on the field if they can process what they've learned and take it to the field. That's the one thing we haven't seen, but the verbal communication, the written communication. The speed at which they think, about those things. We have seen that, so we have a pretty good idea on that part of it, at least.
When you say games, do you mean like pop quizzes, Jeopardy type of deal?
Yeah, exactly. Jeopardy and those kind of things. Yeah, we have some good ones.
John, Jerry Sandusky again. Because you did not get your mini camps and your off-season work, your walkthroughs, all of that, and you don't know how well these guys can take it to the field, have you and your coaches had to rethink the way you will do your training camp in terms of the amount of material you'll and the order of the material that you put out in front of them every day?
We have been thinking about that quite a bit, Jerry. That's really one of the primary things we're putting together now. It's like what can we make? What can we work on? Make sure that we're good at. Try to make as few mistakes as we can in terms of wasting time, because it's going to be a pretty short ramp up to the season. It's going to be, I'm sure, some acclimation for the players. We've already missed out on 13 practices. And then how much will we have to do to build them up to full speed practice when we get back to camp? We'll have to see. So we put a lot of thought into that. Yeah, that's been a big part of our planning, scripts and installs and things like that. And I expect it maybe to be fluid, once we get into it and see where we're at.
I'm Jimenez.
Hey, John, it's Kirk McEwen once again. My last one for you. I know Matthew Judon just got franchised. You got Ronnie Stanley, who doesn't seem pressed to get a deal done right now. Marlon Humphrey's coming up. Lamar's around the corner. It doesn't seem like you'll be able to keep everybody. And that's more of an Eric question and the capologist, but your thoughts on how much talent you have and how do you keep it all?
Yeah, I mean, that to me, that's it's like golf. You play the shots as they're presented, and hopefully we can hit the more shots you hit in the middle of the fairway, the cleaner the shots are going forward, and that would be drafting good players. So we've done that. We drafted a lot of good players, and we've developed them very well. I think guys that fit in. I'm pretty sure last year and the year before, everybody wasn't talking about how talented we were, and what a great roster we had. So I think the guys have just done better than what they were expected to do. And that's a plus for us and a good problem to have. And we'll keep as many guys as we can. I mean, I am very optimistic about the fact that we have a good cap situation going forward. We have not been in good cap shape for the last 6 years or so, and we've really had 7 years. Every year we've been behind the 8 ball with the cap, and that's just the way it was. And then this year was a little better. Next year will be a lot better. With that, we have to sign guys, but we'll have money too. So I'm very optimistic that Eric and his crew will just do an amazing job of figuring out the numbers, and hopefully, the agents will work with us. So we'll put it in perspective. But we'll keep the guys we can, and the guys that we can't, we'll replace, and we'll keep building what we're doing here. So I'm really confident, though, that a lot of these players want to be back, and that I know we want them back. So I think we'll get a number of these guys back, a high number of them back.
Thank you.
John, this is Jeff Rebeck again. I was going to ask you, is this one of the things you discuss about some of the restrictions? Is it possible that you could have fewer than 90 players just to make it easier to kind of abide by some of the restrictions?
I think that's one of the proposals, Jeff, but that stuff is all just kind of rumor right now. I think that the NFL, the different committees and the union people are working on that right now, and whatever they come up with, and that's what we'll do.
Matthew Stevens with Ravens Wire. You guys have a great history when it comes to undrafted free agents. Every single year, you guys seem to keep at least one. How will the pandemic and not having things like in-person mini camps and the like, how will that impact that process for you guys and maybe for those players?
That's a great question. I don't think we're going to know, Luke, until we get back. We've already missed out on the tryout part of it. We used to bring in over 20 guys for tryouts, and usually 3-4 of those guys would end up on our training camp roster, and we've had guys make the team. Zach Orr comes to mind. So that's one part we've already kind of, the whole league has missed out. The guys the guys you feel bad for are those guys. There's so many players that don't get drafted and then don't sign right away, who end up being really good players, and they are good players. They deserve a shot and a chance, but that part of it probably won't happen this year. So maybe those guys will get a chance next year. But yeah, as far as who will make it, who won't make it, how this affects, that's remains to be seen.
All right, well, we'll have one more. Jimena, why don't you close us out?
Coach, who has impressed you with their off-season workouts so far? For me, Hollywood Brown has an amazing physical change.
Well, yeah, you've got a good eye. I mean, I've seen the same videos that you've seen, and it looks like he's doing well. I've heard so many good reports from our strength and conditioning coaches about how the guys have done on the Zoom workouts. They've worked really hard, and I feel like our team is in excellent shape. But without putting an eye on them, it's kind of hard to actually determine who the main guy would be. I don't want to say one name, but I think a lot of the guys have done really well, and I just can't wait to get them back. I mean, you get to the point now where, we're really looking forward to practicing and getting on the grass and being together. I know the players feel the same way. They just want to get back to football, getting back to doing what they do and what they love to do. So once they get back, I'll probably have a better answer for that question. But generally speaking, I would say I'm really pleased and happy with the whole team. I think the team as a whole has done a great job, and hey, the next step will be training camp.
All right, great. Coach, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And thanks for your time to the media. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys and gals. Thanks for being on.